Okay everyone, so now we are learning the file functions. To handle the file, there are various functions which are divided into various categories. The first category is open and close. So for opening and closing the file, we are having some functions. The first function is fopen. This function is used for opening the file. And the next function is fclose. Fclose is used for closing the specific file. Then the next function is fcloseall. This function is used for closing all the files. Then we are having is the next category of file function, that is file input and output functions, which are used for reading the file and writing the file. The first function is fprintf and then fscanf. Just like printf and scanf functions, we are having is the fprintf and fscanf functions. These are used for the file, and these are the formatted functions, means they can follow any format, just like integer, float, character, everything they can follow. Next functions we are having fputc and fgetc. Here C stands for character, means they are dealing with the character. fputc means we are writing the character onto file. fgetc means we are taking the character input from the file. The next functions are fputs and fgets. Here S signifies string. So fputs means we are writing the string onto the file, and fgets means we are reading the string from the file. The next functions are putw and getw. Here W signify integer. Here we are using the putw, means we are writing integer onto the file, and then we are having is getw, means we are reading integer from the file. The next category of file function is structure read and write functions. We know that we have the structure which have different data types. So that structure we can read directly and write directly from the file. So for that we are having functions fwrite and fread. Fwrite is used for writing the structure onto file, and fread is used for reading the structure from the file. Next file function category is file positioning functions. They are also called random access functions. Inside the file we can go at specific location. For that these functions are used. That's why they called as file positioning functions or random access functions. Here we are having the first function, which is fseek. Seek means we has to go at specific location. Here with the help of fseek's function we can move the file pointer at a specific location. The next function is ftell. This function is used for telling the current position of file pointer. The next function is rewind. In the earlier time, we was having the tape records. In the tape record, we were having the cassettes. So here we was having the rewind button. The rewind means going at the beginning. So here similarly, we are having the rewind function, which is going at the beginning of file. Next category of file function we are having is the search error. These are used for searching error in reading and writing file. Whenever we are dealing with the file, at that time there can be multiple errors, just like we cannot open the file or we cannot read the file. So such errors can be taken care by these functions. So these are the searching error functions. Here we are having is the function which is ferror. When we are reading and writing the file, at that time there can be some error which can encounter. So for taking care of that error, we are having is the ferror. The next function is perror. This function is used for the compiler error messages, means whatever the compiler error is there, that is going to display. Also with perror function, we can provide the user defined messages. Just like we are having some compiler error, we want to display some user defined message. So that is possible with the perror. After that, there are some other functions which are available for the file handling. The first function is feof. Here we are having is the word EOF. that means end of file. So it detects that whether the file pointer is at end of file or not. Means we can find the end of file. The next function is unlink. Unlink function is also popular with the name that is remove. Remove function or unlink function, both are the same function, and they are used for removing a specific file from the disk. The next function is rename. If you want to change the name of file, then we use the function which is rename. Now we are learning all the functions one by one. In the file functions, we are having is the first category, which is open and close functions. Here the first function we are having is the fopen. This function is used for opening the existing file, or if the file is not there, it can create the new file. Whenever we are dealing with the file, we need the file pointer. So here we are having is the file structure. So that is the file. With that file structure, we have to create the file pointer. So here star fp. This fp is the file pointer. This file pointer contains the address of file structure. So now with the help of this file pointer, we can work with the file functions. So if you want to use the fopen functions, we want to open the file. So here we are using first of all the file pointer. So here we will say fp, which is the file pointer, equal to fopen. So we are opening the file. In the bracket, first of all, we have to provide the name of file. Let's say Ankit. So here Ankit is the name of file, dot extension which is txt. Then double quotes close, comma. Here we have to provide the mode. Means we are opening the file in which mode? Read mode, write mode, append mode. So let's say I am writing R. Means I want to read the file. So here we are providing the mode, then afterward semicolon. So this is how we can use the file open function, which is fopen. The next function is fclose. This function is used for closing the file which is associated with the file pointer. So let's assume that we have opened the file which is ankit.txt using the file pointer. Now we want to close that file. So for that we use this function which is fclose. So here we write fclose for closing the specific file which is associated with the file pointer. So with the file pointer, the file whatever we are having, that will be closed. The next function we are having is the fcloseall. This function is used for closing all the files which are open. So if you want that the files which are open, that should be closed. So for that we use the function which is fcloseall. This close all the files which are open. Next category of the file function is the input output functions. Here the first function is fprintf. This function is used for writing all types of data, just like integer, float, character, string onto the file. Let us suppose that we are having is the integer variable. So we are saying that int x. We know that x is the integer variable. Let's say its value is 10. If I want that this 10 should be written onto the file, so for that we are going to write this function which is fprintf, means printing or writing onto the file. In the bracket, first of all we provide the file pointer on which we have opened the file, then comma, we provide the specified character. Let's say here is the %d for the integer values, then comma, what is that variable? So that variable is x. So here we are going to store the x value which is 10 inside the file. The next function is fscanf. This function is used for reading all type of data, just like int, float, char, string from file. Let us suppose that we are having an integer variable y. So we can say that int y, that means y is of integer type. Here we want to take the data from file that is of integer type. So we are saying fscanf. That means we are going to read the file. So for that we need the file pointer associated with the file, comma, we have to provide which data type we are using. Let's say integer. So for that we are using %d. then comma, at the address of y, we are going to store that data. So here from the file, we are going to put the data into y. The next function is fputc. This function is exactly same as the function putc. Here C signify character. So this function is used to write character onto file. So let us assume that we are having is the character variable. So we can say that char ch. So this is the character variable ch. Here let's say we are having is the character that is a. So a is stored. Now if I want to put that character or write that character onto the file, so we are writing that function by saying fputc, means writing the character onto the file. Here we are providing the ch, comma, fp. So on the file pointer, we are going to write that character which will write onto the file. Alternatively, we can simply say that putc. If we are not using the f, that is fine. So that is exactly similar as the previous one. Both are the same. So assume that we are having is a file which is associated with the file pointer fp. So here inside the file, using the file pointer, we are writing the character that is a. So a is written on the file using the fputc or putc function. The next function is fgetc. This function is exactly same as the function getc. Here C stands for character. That means reading the character from file. Let's assume that we are having is a character variable ch. So we can say that char ch. So this is a character variable. Inside this ch, we want to store the character data from the file. So we can say that ch is equal to, here we provide the function which is fgetc, means getting the character. In the bracket, we have to provide the file pointer. This function is exactly same as the getc function. So we can say that ch is equal to getc, means getting the character using the file pointer. So this time from the file we are reading, means getting the data outside for reading. The next function is fputs. This function is same as the function puts. Here s signifies string. So this function is used for writing string onto file. We know that string is the character array. So let us suppose that we are having is a character array. So that is char, let's say it is a. And let's assume that its size is 6. And inside that we are having is the string stored, that is Ankit. So here Ankit is stored inside that. Now semicolon. If you want to put that string onto the file, so we can simply write the function by saying fputs. Put s stands for it is the string. So here the string is stored into a, comma, using the file pointer we are going to store that. This function is exactly same as the puts function. So we can say that puts, here the string a, then file pointer. So inside the file, using the file pointer fp, we are going to write the string, and that string is Ankit. The next function is fgets. This function is same as getS function. Here s signifies string, means reading the string from file. String is a character array. So let's assume that we are having a character array. So char data type A6. Here we want that the data should come from the file. So here we want to provide the function which is fgetS. Now we want the data in A. So A is equal to fgetS. So getting the string using the file pointer. This function is same as the getS function. So we can also say that A is equal to getS, means get the string using the file pointer. So by this function we are going to read the string from file. The next function is putw. Here w signify integer, means writing the integer onto file. Let's say we are having is the integer variable x. So we can say that in x. So we have declared a variable and we have initialized the value, let's say with the 10. Now this 10 value we want to store inside the file. So we are using the function which is putw. Here w signify it is the integer. So putw, the name of variable x, comma, using the file pointer we want to write. So here we are writing onto the file, and here the integer 10 will be stored inside the file. The next function is getw. Here w signify integer, that means read integer from file. Let's assume we have the integer variable, so we can say that int x. So we have declared one variable. Let us suppose that inside that variable we want to take the data from file. So we can say x is equal to, now getw. So get the integer from file associated with the file pointer fp. So that means we are reading the data from the file. And here we are reading the integer, which is 10. Next classification of file function is structure, read and write functions. Here the first function is fwrite. This function is used to write the entire structure to the file. Let us assume that we are having a structure. So here we are having a structure, let's say struct student. Inside the structure we are having different data types. This is the first we are having is the int a. Then we are having is the, let's say, char b. So two data types are there. When we are combining different data types together, that is called the structure, which is a user defined data type. This structure is having, let's say, its object or the variable which is s. With the help of this s, we are now providing its elements. Let's say we are initializing the value of a, which is 10, and the char we are defining, which is a. So the value of a is 10 and the value of b is a. So these two values we have initialized to a and b. If we want that this complete structure at the same time should be the part of file, means we should write this into the file. So first of all we have to write the function, that is fwrite. That means writing the structure onto the file. In the bracket we have to provide the structure variable. We know that the structure variable is s. So and s. This is structure variable, comma, the size of structure variable. So here we are having is the function which is size of. So here the structure variable is s. So we are passing s in the bracket, comma, the number of records. Let's say I want to write only one record right now. So 1. Then comma, file pointer. So here we know that fp is the file pointer. Then semicolon. So by this we are going to write the complete structure onto the file. So here the complete structure which is 10 and a. So that is stored inside the file. The next function we are having is the fread. This function is used to read entire structure from file. Let's say inside the file we are having the structure that we want to read. So for that we have to write the function which is fread. In the bracket we have to pass structure variable. So here we know that and s is the structure variable, comma, here we have to provide the size of that structure variable. So for that we are having is the function which is size of. So here size of s we are going to find, then comma, number of records. So here number of records, let's say 1, which I want to read, then using the file pointer. So this is how we can read the structure from the file. So here from the file, now we are reading the structure. So using these functions we can handle the complete structure. Fwrite, write the complete structure onto the file, and fread, read the complete structure from the file. The next category of file function is file positioning functions, or they are called random access functions. The function we are having is the fseek. This function is used to reach as a specific position into the file. So by using fseek function, it set pointer position anywhere in the file. For the fseek function, we are having the syntax. Let's assume that inside the file we are having some data. Let's say 7, 8, 6, 5. So these are some data which is available onto the file. Now here we are applying the fseek function. So we can say that fseek means going at the proper position, file pointer, let's say the file pointer is fp, comma offset means how many bytes we want to move forward. So here let's say I am saying 2 bytes, comma pointer position. Let's assume that the pointer position is 0 right now. So here 0 signify beginning, that means starting of the file. This is called 0 or the beginning. We are assuming that every digit here 7865, that is of 1 byte. So 2 means moving by 2 bytes forward. So here 1 and 2, that means we want to fetch the record which is 8. So here 0 signify beginning of file. And here 2 signify move file pointer by 2 bytes. Instead of this 0, which means beginning of file, we can also write seek underscore set. So here seek underscore set signify that beginning of file. Let's say you want to start with the current position where the pointer is there. So we can use seek underscore cur. Or instead of 0, we can say that end of file, that is seek underscore end. Now we are taking some examples to understand the fseek function. So here we can write that fseek means moving to the specific position. Here we have the file pointer. 2 means move forward by 2 bytes, comma instead of 0, we can write here simply seek and underscore set. So here seek underscore set means it is the beginning. So starting from the beginning, we are moving by 2 bytes. So 1 and 2. So here we can access the 8. So these two are same. Now we are taking one more example. Let's say we are using fseek. So moving to the specific position, file pointer, comma 2, comma here we are using the seek. So seek underscore cur. So from the current position, we want to move forward with the 2 bytes. Let us assume that when we are opening the file, our file pointer is before 8. Now here seek current, that means from the current where the pointer is moving by 2 bytes. So here 1 and 2, that means we are going to fetch the record which is 6. So here from the current position, we are moving forward with the 2 bytes. Let's say we are taking one more example. We are having is the fseek for moving the specific position, file pointer, comma, let's say we are using the -2 here. Then comma, we are using seek underscore end. Seek underscore end signify the last position, that means end of the file. So from end of the file, we are going minus, means backward position. So here 1 and 2, that means we are fetching the record which is 6. So this is how we are having is the fseek function, in which we are having is the 2. That 2 signify means moving forward or the backward. If we are using the minus sign, that is backward. Positive means forward. Then the next one is 0. 0 is the beginning, or we can say that seek underscore set, that is also for the beginning. Now seek underscore current, that is for the current position. Seek underscore end, that is for the end position. So this is how this is the fseek function, means going to the specific location into the file. The next function is ftell. This function is telling the current location of file pointer. So the ftell function is used to return the current position of file pointer. Let's assume that our file pointer is available at some position. So here this is the position where the file pointer is going. Now if I want that position, means where our file pointer is, when we are opening the file, where is my file pointer? So we have to use the function which is ftell. So ftell function we are using with the file pointer fp. it returns the integer value. That means where that position is. So for that we need the integer variable. Let's say the integer variable we are having is the int, let's say p for the position. So here inside p we are writing p is equal to ftell fp. So it will tell the current position of file pointer. It will give that location to the p. The next function is rewind. This function set the position at beginning of file. In the earlier time we was having the tape records where we was having the rewind button. So when we rewind that, the cassette will go to the beginning. Similarly, this rewind is used for making the position of file pointer at the beginning. Let us suppose that I am opening the file and the file pointer is somewhere. If I want that file pointer should be at the beginning. So here we are using the function which is rewind. So simply we are writing the rewind means going at the beginning of the file, and in the bracket we are passing the file pointer which is fp. So it will go at the beginning of the file. Next category of the file functions are searching error functions. Means whenever we are opening the file, closing the file or dealing with the file, there can be some errors. So for that we are having is the searching error functions. Here we are having the first function which is ferror. This function is used to report the errors which occur while we read and write the file. So for finding the error, simply we are going to write that is ferror. Means here we are finding the error in read and write operation. In the bracket we are passing the file pointer. It gives the result in integer. That's why we are storing the result into some integer. Let's say x. So we have to declare that variable. Let's say int x. So inside the x we are having the integer answer which will be having the error. It can provide two integer values. Either it can provide the 0. So 0 signify success. Means no problem. No error is there into the file. Or maybe it can provide some non-zero value. Non-zero value can be positive or negative. So that means it is the failure. Means in read and write operation there is some problem. So it will provide the non-zero value. If there is no problem, then it provides the 0. The next function is perror. This function prints the compiler error messages along with user-defined messages. So here perror function is used to show the compiler error. And as well as with that we can show the user-defined messages. So let us assume that I want to use this function by saying perror. So it will show the normal compiler error. But in the bracket if I am providing something, let's say if I am saying error, so that error will also be shown. So let's say this message I am passing. So here assume that by perror we got the error maybe that file not found. So this is the compiler error. Now before that it also provide the customized message which we have given. So this error will be coming before that. So here we can see that file not found. Let's say this is the compiler error. Means compiler has given this message that your file is not found. And before that you want to apply, let's say your own message. So here this is the user defined. So on the screen there will be the message error, file not found completely. So using the perror function, we can take the compiler error and merge with the user defined message. We are having some other file functions. The first one is feof. This function detects whether the file pointer is at end of file or not. So here simply we apply the function which is feof. Here eof stands for end of file, and in the bracket we are passing the file pointer. It returns the integer value. That's why we provide that value to some integer variable. Let's say we are taking the variable which is p. So here we are taking the variable, let's say int p. P will store the integer value returned by the feof function. Let us suppose that the pointer is at the end of file. So it will return the non-zero value. And for other cases, maybe the pointer is somewhere else. In that case, it will return the 0. We know that at the end, this is the end of file. Let's assume that our file pointer is at the end of file. In that case, it will return the non-zero value, and that we can store. The next function is unlink. This function is same as the remove function. Unlink function or the remove function, they are used to remove the specified file from the disk. Let's say we want to remove a file, so simply we can use the function which is remove, or we can simply write the unlink. In the bracket we can provide the name of file. Let's say the name of file is verma.txt. So by using that we are going to remove or unlink the file. The next function is rename. This function is used to change the name of file. So here we have to provide the rename function, rename the file. We have to provide the previous name. Let's say the previous name of the file is verma.txt. This is the previous or the old name. And we have to provide the new name. Let's say the new name of file is ankit.txt. So this new name will be changed. So here we have provided the rename function, and here verma.txt, this one is the old name of file, and the new name of file we have given is the ankit.txt. So the old name is replaced with the new name. That means we have renamed the file. So that is all about the file functions.